And good evening, everyone. Welcome to another exciting Saturday Night Wine Stream and another exciting episode of Drink with Rick. I'm Rick, and this is episode number 85. Oh, no, 84. I'm losing track of how many episodes we've got going on here. We're racking them up. But I'm glad you're here with me. Tonight, we are going to review a Vinum Cellars Pinot Noir. This is something that's new that was introduced to me just this past week. We're going to give it a try. We'll see if it's see how it pairs up with some food. We have some nice foods here to pair it up with, made by my lovely wife Chi. And we're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about our favorite cartoons. We're going to talk about anything else you want to talk about, because you know what? This show isn't about me. This show is about the wine, but it's really about you and me getting together and just having a good time. This is a stream of consciousness show, so if you're tuning in for the first time, be prepared for that, because I do have show notes, but I don't always follow them. Sometimes I'll go way off the rails on the notes, depending on where we go with the chats. So please join in the chat, because once again, you're part of the show. You're part of the show, so please join in and be right here with me. Tell me what you're drinking. Tell me what you'd like to see me drinking. And if I can afford to buy some of it, maybe I'll try it and drink it too. Of course, you can watch us on our Facebook page, Drink with Rick. You can watch me on Facebook and on the feed. You can watch, because it's public. And you can watch on Twitch. If you're on Twitch, you can catch the show on Twitch and chat with me there. Chat with me here on Facebook as well. You can chat with me on YouTube. We're live on YouTube, and everything seems to be running okay so far from what I've been checking. And we're on live on Periscope through or on Twitter through Periscope. So you can actually go to @DrinkWithRick on Twitter, and you can watch the entire show stream live right there on Twitter. You can, of course, check the podcast out. The podcast goes out on Monday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern, every Monday night, 10 p.m. at drinkwithrick.com, and on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Android, Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, Deezer, also on Amazon. You can pick it up, Amazon Music Podcasts. You can pick it up from your Echo, your Amazon Echo. Just say, give the wake word and say, play Drink with Rick podcast, and she should be able to play it. If not, let me know. But you should be able to play it without any trouble at all. Also, you can subscribe via email. Just click the button there at drinkwithrick.com, the subscribe page. Subscribe by email. I promise no salesman will call, at least not any salesman from me. And you'll get the latest episode in your email inbox as soon as the episode drops. So you can watch it at your leisure. You don't have to do a thing. You just subscribe, boom, it's right there as soon as each episode comes down. So there are multiple ways to get the show. And of course, you can always watch us after the fact or during the show at drinkwithrick.com on the website, drinkwithrick.com. Now, I don't have a chat going there, but you can leave comments. You click on the post for that episode, for that live show, and you can leave comments, and I will respond in kind. Anyway, you can also contact me, rick@savoyamedia.com. That's rick@savoyamedia.com. There's the website again there, drinkwithrick.com, if you want to contact me about pretty much for anything, okay, except spam. Don't spam me, please. I got enough of that as it is. But contact me, and you can, you can chat with me there. Okay, so tonight, this is what we're drinking. We're drinking a Vinum Cellars. This is a Pinot Noir, 2017 Pinot Noir, Monterey. And this is, I've never tried this wine before. Never have. So we're going to open it up and see how it pairs with food, see how it tastes, and see if we like it or not. And we'll find out. I'm going to check, just briefly, I'm going to check the chats here. Chats are quiet as they usually are right starting off. Every once in a while we'll get a few people starting off right away in Facebook, but oftentimes people just don't start wandering in until we're well into the show. I'm going to try not to go too long tonight. We'll have some fun, but I'll try not to go too long tonight, because we've been going pretty long the last few weeks. Let's see. CM Senders in the chat. I'm getting some buffering. Okay. It looks okay on my end. It looks okay on my end. It's Barnstar says, good evening, Rick. And hey, it's Barnstar, good evening to you too. And that Square Guy's in the chat, one of my favorite people on Twitch, that Square Guy. He says, hello, Rick, and it's Barnstar, and that Square Guy. I'm glad y'all are here. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight, and I hope you'll stick around and join in on the fun. Let me see what's going on. Anything on YouTube? I think YouTube's probably quiet. Yeah, it is. It is. And Ed is here. Ed here. That's what he says. I'm glad. It's great to see you, Ed, as always. He says, Ed here, and I am glad you are. Ed, we're going to be showing a short film tonight. I think you know which one it is, and your name is on it. So you were part of the film, so I hope you'll stick around to watch that. I know it's been ages. It's been it's been close to 40 years since you've seen this film, I'm pretty sure. But I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Anyway, where are we here? Oh, that Square Guy says, doing well. Oh, he's talking to CM Sender. And my family's football team won the Australian Football League grand final last night, so I'm feeling pretty good. And that's great. Well, we have to toast that too. I bet you all did some toasting about that on that too, right? Okay, so let's take a look at the wine. This, once again, this is a Vinum Cellars Pinot Noir. It's a 2017. This is from Monterey. It's in California. It's from Napa Valley region. And boy, those areas in California got hit pretty bad with all the fires this summer. And even now, you know, I guess they've got a handle on them now a little bit. But there's some devastating fires. And yes, they did encroach into some of the wine country there. So that's not a good thing. Okay, so here's the wine, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the wine shortly. Right now, I've got the back of the wine, and I will read that. And let's see, reading from the back here, it says Vinum Cellars 2017 Pinot Noir. Since 1997, Vinum Cellars has been committed to producing quality wines from single vineyards in premium coastal and cool climate growing areas within California. Today, our home is in a restored 1880 farmhouse, which is depicted on the front label of this bottle. Next time you are in the Napa Valley, we invite you to visit our tasting room and brick oven cafe, opening in 2020 at 499 Devlin Road, Napa, California, 94558. I'm just reading what's on this label here. Vented and bottled by Vinum Cellars in Oakville, California. You can check them out at vinumcellars.com. Actually, I was just at vinumcellars.com. I was not at Vinum Cellars, but I was at the website earlier today. There is 14.5% alcohol by volume in this 750 milliliter bottle. So that's quite a bit. That's quite a bit of alcohol. I'll try to go easy. I promised my wife I wouldn't drink the whole bottle tonight. I'll try to keep that promise. Of course, there's that much alcohol in there. I don't know if I really could anyway. It's Barnstar says, that looks tasty. It does, and we're going to open it here. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and start opening it right now. Wait a minute, before I do that, let me check the chat one more time on Facebook. And Ed's there. Everything's going on here. Nothing going on YouTube at the moment, but it's going. And it's Barnstar says, I grew up about 2 hours south of Napa. Wow, cool. So you're not too far away. Not too far away from, or you grew up there, right? Are you still there? Are you still there in that area, in the Napa area? So let's see. It says 2017 on the cork here. I don't know if you can see it too well, but let's see. 2017 on the top of the cork. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I didn't need the foil cutter tonight, and I'm doing this down here with a different corkscrew because my corkscrew last week, for those of you who were watching last week, my cork, I had a tough time getting the cork out of the bottle because I wasn't paying much attention. As it turns out, my corkscrew was bent. This is what it looks like. Look at that. my corkscrew, when I tried to use it, apparently it was bent before, and then when I tried using it, it just bent up even further. So that's why I was having so much trouble getting the cork out. And I didn't notice it until after the show. And then I said, oh, okay, no wonder I had so much trouble with it. So, time for another corkscrew. I go through a couple of these every year. So we're going to go ahead and we're opening up the wine here with the Veneto aerator from the Veneto Wine Lover set, which, by the way, is available. The whole set is available. And actually, this corkscrew came from that set, to be honest. I'm not going to lie to you about that. This corkscrew came from that set. But I've been using this corkscrew for a long time and opened many bottles with it. Corkscrews don't last forever. They really don't. And it's with all the wine I've opened with these, it's amazing it's lasted this long. Anyway, but you can buy the whole set at for $19.99 on Amazon, and I've got a banner and some links on my website, drinkwithrick.com, if you want to purchase it. You can buy this is fantastic. This is a really nice aerator, and we've been using this almost since the show started. Not quite, almost since. And you can get this for $12.99 over at Amazon from the link. Now I might make a few cents from it. We'll see. I didn't make much. I didn't make anything last time. I had my affiliate account up there, so we'll see if I'm not getting rich off of this. Trust me. Okay, I'm not getting rich off of it. I think I'm getting poor. Speaking of pour, let's go ahead and pour this wine. I'm going to be pouring it into this. I'm going to do that again. There we go. That's better. This is my Galway genuine Irish crystal glass from Ireland, imported from Ireland, and given to me as a gift a couple of years ago by my employers at Buy Two Way Radios. So let's go ahead and pour a little bit of this wine in here. Just a little bit, and we'll let it open up and breathe a little bit. Breathe some life into this wine. Get it going. I should have probably decanted this, and actually I think this was one of those wines that Molly over at Winestore had recommended that I decant before the show. Did not do that. I kind of ran out of time, but we'll see how it tastes out of the bottle. We'll see. We'll give it a few minutes to aerate and to decant its own in the glass. While we're doing that, let's go ahead and find out a little bit more about this wine. Barnstar says, do you go in weekend wine outings? Oh, do you go on weekend wine outings, Rick? Oh, well, and I haven't even started drinking. It seems Cinder says, man, the more you know. Well, I occasionally, and not so much anymore. Not during the COVID season here. We've got pretty much shut in during the weekends, but I used to quite a bit, and used to like to visit some of the wineries and the vineyards around. And whenever we would go out on a trip, I would go visit whatever wineries or vineyards were in the area, and rather enjoyed those tours. Let's see. We're going to find out a little bit more about the wine. I'm going to go to their website, Vinum Cellars. This is vinumcellars.com. This is a 2017 Pinot Noir. And they sell it for $18 on their website. That's where they have it listed on the Vintner's website for $18 for a 750 milliliter bottle. I'm just going to read a little bit of this right from their website. Fair use. Ever since Paul Giamatti waxed poetic about the thin-skinned, temperamental Pinot Noir in the 2004 film Sideways, the noble grape has seen its popularity with wine drinkers skyrocket. Pop culture stardom aside, there's a lot to know and love about Pinot Noir. The fickle and terroir-driven grape is admired for such qualities as its deep red color, notes of luscious berries and smoke, and sometimes prohibitive prices. Yeah, sometimes. Okay, that's directly, I'm just quoting that directly from their website. They're saying that, and I'm going to read from their website again, this part. This wine is from a single vineyard, Arroyo Lomo Pinot Noir, grown by veteran Central Coast grape grower Steve McIntyre, and is comprised of 3 Dion clones. 115, 60, 67, and Palmard 4. The vineyard is sustainable and farmed organically, but not certified. This wine is fermented in open-top fermenters and received a 72-hour cold soak period, followed by gentle 30-minute pump-overs 3 times daily. The wine was finished in 2-year-old Francois Frere Burgundy barrels for a period of 18 months. So this is the 2017 vintage we're talking about. I was just reading directly from their website at vinumcellars.com. So this is the overview of the wine that they have. 18 months aging in 2-year-old French oak. So this should be an interesting wine to drink. I checked around online for on a few websites, checking pricing, and this seems to be a fairly well-known wine around. A number of places have it. There is, like I said, they were selling it for $18 here on their own website. And you check out their website. They have some interesting images and interesting notes about their winemaking process. This is some pretty good stuff. Wine.com is listing it for, actually, they don't, estimate, he says, estimate is $15.99 for that. And I checked around on some of the other websites. Cellar Tracker is listing it for $14.39, and I guess various other places. So we're talking about $14 to $18 roughly. I'll tell you what I paid for it. I'll tell you what I paid. You know what? Vivino has it, but they're listing the 2017 Pinot at $22.99. This is in U.S. dollars, $22.99. Yeah, that's the highest. That's a little bit pricey. It is a little bit pricey. But I'll tell you what I paid for it. I paid, and I left the receipt across the room over there, but I do remember what it said on the receipt. Normally I keep it here with me. I paid $12.99. I paid $12.99 U.S. dollars. And I purchased this at Winestore, in my local wine store at Blakeney. Winestore-online.com is the website. And they had just gotten some of these in, I guess. They just had some of these. And they, Molly said to me, you gotta try this one. It's actually quite drinkable. Pretty good. Not her exact words, but she said that was pretty decent. So I said, you know what, I will try it. I've never seen that label before. I'll try it. So that's what we're doing tonight. Let's see. Let me go back to Twitch for just a moment. And Barnstar says, Sideways got me enthusiastic about wine back in the day. Yeah, it's well known for getting a lot of people enthusiastic about wine and maybe not so enthusiastic about other wines or another wine. Tell me which one it was. I think you know. Yeah, it's Barnstar says, I love that film. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. So let's go back to Facebook for just a minute. And my sister Gina is in the chat. Gina, it's great to see you. I'm glad you're here. Gina says, she says, oh, poor vineyard, single still. I know how it feels, newly divorced. I'm aging 2, single vineyard, mature, maybe a little oaky, definitely not sweet. Yeah, and I'm not a big fan of sweet wines per se, so I'm looking forward to this. So Gina, you've had this wine. You're familiar. Gina's from California, so I'm pretty sure you're familiar with the Vinum Cellars wine, with the Vinum Pinot Noir. Gina, please stick around for a while because we're going to talk about vintage cartoons and stuff, but I'm going to show you, you've never seen this cartoon. Back in 1981, I made a film with my buddy Ed, who is also in the chat, and some of my other friends way back in the day, an animated, cell-animated film, and it's never before been seen on the internet. I don't think anyone in the family has seen it. Well, maybe one person, but I don't think anyone else has ever seen this film. So I think you might like that. You might enjoy it. Anyway, so, and it's a short film, so I promise I won't keep you all up late. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and check out this one more time. The Twitch chat, how are we doing over here? Okay, good. Scroll didn't stop. Okay, so let me go to back here. $22.99 was the last one. So, and I paid $12.99. And I think Molly said that it was a pretty special buy that they got, so it must have been. Must have been. Well, let's give it a little whiff. Yeah, there's some cherry in it, of course, not surprising. And a hint of something else. It kind of smells a little oaky. Let's give it a taste. I can hardly wait to try it out, to taste it. Okay. Cherry and something else in here. It seemed like I was tasting a little clove in this. Let me try a little bit more. And I love clove. I love clove. It's a hint of clove in here. It does taste a little bit oaky. It does taste somewhat oaky. A little earthy. I think so. Definitely cherry, a little cranberry, yeah, and some oak, and yeah, you got some earthy flavors to it. It's kind of medium. It's not real light. It's not real heavy. It's kind of and you know, a lot of Pinots are kind of medium bodied wines anyway, so I'm not surprised. This is kind of looks medium bodied. It's rather smooth, I have to say. You know, I was reading some other reviews from some people who've tried this wine, and they say that there's some quite a few tannins in this wine. Some people said it was very tannic, and I'm not really getting that. There's some tannin in this wine, but it's not really heavy tannic. Ooh. At least not this bottle. It's not too heavy tannic. A little light on the tannics. It's very smooth, and it is dry. As Gina said, this is definitely not a sweet wine. This is very dry. This is very dry wine, which I really enjoy a good dry wine. It's a little on the. The acidity is a little bit higher, but it's than some of the Pinots I've had. But it's good. It's not bad at all. I'd have some more of this. I'm pretty sure it's going to pair pretty well with at least a couple of foods we have here. And I'm looking forward to trying it with the Trader Joe's creamy double cream Gouda, or Gouda, however you want to pronounce it. I prefer Gouda. Yeah, I'm having a little more of this. You know, it has a longer finish than the wine we had last week. The wine we had last week, which was what was that? It was the Malbec. The Malbec we had last week was, it really wasn't, I don't think that was too much of a finish on it. This one has a longer finish, and it does. It has, you taste a little more of the oakiness on the finish, I think. What do you think, Gina? What was your take on it when you, Gina says, I'm actually describing me, not the wine. Well, this wine is oh, come on. Okay. That's good. That's funny. Okay. Zing. That was good. I know for my self-deprecating humor, but I wouldn't say that, Gina. I would not say that at all. I think you are aging very gracefully. I think you're aging very gracefully, and probably much more gracefully than I am. So don't sell yourself short on that, okay? I think you're fine. You're fine. You're aging very well. I think kind of like this wine. This wine seems to have aged fairly well. Actually, I kind of like it. Yeah, but it's a little oaky on the finish, which is okay, but it is smooth, and I like it. I like the wine. It's okay. Now there is a little bit of there is kind of a tart. There is a tart, and now that I'm getting onto it, there's kind of a tart aftertaste, kind of like you would get if you drank cranberry juice or something. That kind of tart in the back. It's kind of slightly, so maybe there is a little more tannin in here than I detected at the very beginning. There might be a few more tannins in here than I thought, but it is a little tart, very, very end, but I like that. It's pretty cool. So maybe there aren't a few more tannins. I just didn't pick them all up right away. We're going to try it with some food. We're going to pair it with some food here in just a moment. But before we do, let's go back to the chat. And it's Barnstar says, nice deep red hue. Yeah, it looks, here's the thing, it's the lights hitting it, because the lights in the studio, and I've got lights up ahead and one behind me and a couple for the background. The lights tend to hit right on the glass and make the glass look, or the wine look darker than it is, but actually, you know what? Actually, it's not bad. Yeah, it is showing up pretty decently on camera. It's a ruby red. It's not real deep ruby red. It's kind of a medium, but it is a very nice color. I like it. It's a very nice ruby color. Very clean red. Yeah, I like it, and it's very clear, and yeah, looks nice actually. It's Barnstar says, what are some of your favorite varieties of red and white wines? Well, mostly I prefer red. Some whites. I'll drink a Chardonnay every once in a while for that butteriness in it. And Sauvignon Blancs, Blanc wines I can drink. Some Pinot Grigios sometimes. But I prefer the reds, and I prefer reds like I like a really good Pinot Noir. I like Malbecs. We had a Malbec last week. Tempranillos, Merlots, Cabs. I like good Cab. A lot of different wines. But I like a good wine. There's some that I really have a preference for, and there's some that I will never get to drink again. Like, and I still have the bottle down here somewhere in the back, 40th anniversary. Where is it? It's in the back. There's a Camus down there, 40th anniversary, and all I've got left is a bottle because I opened it up on Thanksgiving. It was about $9,500 bottle of wine that was given to me as a gift. One year, it was given to us as a gift by one of our vendors, by Two-Way Radios. And I saved it as long as I could, and then we had a special occasion on Thanksgiving. I know I've told the story several times on the show in the past, but we opened it up on a Thanksgiving, and it was just an amazing wine. It was an amazing Camus. Unfortunately, as soon as the bottle was empty, I immediately regretted opening it, because now all I have left is that bottle and some really fine memories of wines. But it was worth it because we had some great friends over that we shared the wine with, and they all enjoyed it. We all had a great time with it. So, yeah, it was the 40th anniversary one. That's why I saved that bottle, because I really love the label on it. I might bring that again. I got a picture of it somewhere. I got a picture of it. I'll have to show you. Anyway, so Gina says, "Oh, thank you. You're actually aging well. You don't throw spiders on me anymore." I'll tell you what, if I was doing that now, I probably wouldn't be aging well at all, because I'd be all black and blue. I'd be beating up on me for that. No, I don't do that anymore. I wised up. That's another old saying I have. Yeah, I used to do that, but I wised up. So anyway, Gina, you're on a roll tonight, I tell you. She's making me laugh. So it's Barnstar says, and Merlot for the sweetness. Actually, I find the Merlots somewhat rather dry, not too sweet. Yeah, it's Barnstar says, same, prefer red, Cabernet, and Zinfandels. Yeah, we had a good Zin. What do we have? We had a Zin a couple weeks ago. What was it? I'm trying to remember where we had that Zin. I keep referencing the bottles in the back. Yeah, and for those who are asking, is that real? Yes, that's real. That's not a green screen. Now, that's a blue screen, but that's not a green screen. Those are all real bottles of wine. I could reach back and pick one up anytime I wanted to. And so that's real. And we've had every one of those bottles on the show. So says, Dad, did you use it throw spiders on? Did you used to throw spiders on people? Ask your Aunt Gina. She has stories. I wasn't throwing spiders on people. I did other stuff, but all kinds of other animals. I used to. I think Gina is still the little payback there from the days that I used to give a difficult time to her cat. She named her cat Elvis, and should I tell this story? She named her cat Elvis, and a beautiful cat, beautiful. It was a silver tabby, I believe, and she named it Elvis, and but I used to call it stupid all the time. To the point where the cat, when I call it stupid, sometimes the cat would come when I called it stupid, and my sister was not too happy about that. But I never hurt the cat. I never did anything bad to the cat. I loved the cats, and I was allergic to them, but I loved them. And my brothers, they were the ones that were always, making the cats cry. We had another cat named Charmin, and I can tell you, I don't need to tell you the story. That's one reason why we named it. Well, that was the reason my mom named it Charmin, was because my brothers would squeeze the cat until it'd start crying, and so she named it Charmin because she could just go and say, "Please don't squeeze the Charmin." But yeah. That was my mom's sense of humor. Charmin, and that cat lived to be very old, very, very old cat. Anyway, where was I? See, I'm going off on my tangent here, and we've got things to do. We've got food to eat, and birthdays to toast, and a film to watch. And Gina says, because I got it the week Elvis died. That's right. Yeah, you did get the cat. I remember when Elvis passed away. Please don't squeeze the Charmin. Yep. Where was I? Okay, let's taste it with some food first, because this food's getting cold, and it's getting colder by the minute. We're going to try it. We're going to try pairing it with a little bit of food, and then we will toast some birthdays. How about that? So first off, we're going to try it with, and let me show you first of all what we have here. We have some steak, some nice steak. We had a hibachi steak tonight my wife she made, and she made this is really cool. I don't know if this will go well with the wine or not, but this radish, I call it a radish salad because mostly what's in it, radish in tomato and things like that. But she calls it pickled radish, which I don't think it tastes too pickled. It tastes nice. I like it. And then we have some Swiss. I don't know how it's going to fare with the Swiss. We'll see. With some mozzarella, soft cheese, maybe. We have this, which is a cheddar Parmesan mix. That should be interesting. And, of course, the Trader Joe's double cream Gouda, which we have never had a miss with. And as I was preparing for the show, I was doing my pre-show prep, and in the meantime, my wife, she was downstairs baking an apple pie. She was baking an apple pie. You know, desserts always go pretty well with wine. I have never tried a dessert that did not go well with wine. Some desserts go better than others, and better with some wines than others, but yeah, you know, it's all sugar in the end, right? It's all alcohol and sugar. So, it's Barnstar says, haha, most cats deserve the name calling. Well, maybe, and I don't know. We have cat lovers here. My daughter would love to have a cat, but my wife's not too fond of them. We have a dog. He's a sweet dog. Anyway, so let's try it with this. This is the steak, which is very cold by now, but still very good. Very good steak. And she marinated, I think she marinated a little bit of soy sauce. Very nice. See how it pairs. Good with steak, not surprising. It's a red wine. It's a Pinot. Two things in its. We've got two things in its favor on the wine, so it is a pretty good pairing. I'm going to clear the palate for just a moment, and then we're going to try it with the. We're going to try it with the radishes. I don't know. Some Pinots go pretty well with, and white wines, some white wines, dry whites and some sweet whites go really well with some good salads. But the Pinot Noir with the salad, sometimes, depending on the type of salad it is and what's in it, sometimes it can do all right. So clear the palate a little, and then we'll try it with the radish salad. We'll see how that goes. I'm adventurous. What can I say? You gonna try it? This is really, really good, by the way. My wife made a bowl of this in dinner, and I think I ate most of that bowl. Oh, definitely not sour pickle or anything like that. Very mild. Very good. Okay, that's interesting. Let me try that again. That's interesting. That's an interesting pairing. I can't say it's a great pairing, but it's interesting. That's right. Take two. I'm not, yeah, I don't know. Not the best pairing for the salad, but I'm pretty sure there are some wines that would make a great pairing with this radish salad, as I call it, or pickled radish, as my wife calls it. But this is the radish thing by itself is really, really good. I really love it. Let's try it. Let's clear the palate. I think I need to clear the palate on this one. It's Winestore says, I'm just being facetious. I've been around cats most of my life. You know, I watched a cat guy the other night, or cat guy, what am I saying? I watched a guy, an artist the other night who does some fantastic, he's on Twitch, and he live streams these, his paintings. He does commissions for, I can't think of the guy's name right offhand, but he does these commissions. He's a young guy. And for paintings, but what you do is you send in a nice photo of your pet, a dog or cat or whatever it is, and he will hand paint a portrait based on the picture, and he live streams his work, what he's doing. Just amazing to watch him, but his work is just phenomenal. It's just, I was really blown away when I saw he was working on a cat. That's why he said cat, no guy. He was doing a really, really nice painting of a cat, and that was very impressive. And he caught all the detail and even the glint in the cat's eyes. And it was so impressive. I was mesmerized. And he's talking during all this, as a lot of the streamers do while they're painting. And I was watching the process, and I was just mesmerized. It was really, very impressed with it. I was really impressed with it. Of course, I followed him right away. That's on Twitch. Let's try this with the Swiss. And Gina says, and now everyone sees... what am I saying? Oh, and now everyone sees where we got our sense of humor. Yeah, we got it from my mom. I don't think we got it from my dad. Did he even have a sense of... He kind of did, but it was different. Yes, Chi is... Gina says, wow, Chi is so good to you. Yes, she is. She is very good to me. And, you know, I try not to take her for granted. There's sometimes when I think to myself, you know what, I do take her for granted, but I don't, and I appreciate her every day. I'm just so blessed. I'm so thankful that she is in my life. She's been in my life for these 26 plus years, and she's a great wife. She's a great mother. She's a great partner, and she keeps me in line. She keeps me in line. She does. But anyway, here's the Swiss. I'll try it with the Swiss. Look, she has been very, very supportive of all my crazy endeavors, including this one. And I just love her for that. She's just amazing. Swiss isn't bad with it. I can think of other wines that would go better with a Swiss. We had a wine a couple of weeks ago. I think, what was it? Was the Camilla? Tempranillo, I think it would have gone better with this, but that's not bad. Let's see. We'll try another Try another cleansing there, and then we'll try it with this. Now this is a, what did you call this, Chief, if you're in the chat? This is a cheddar Parmesan mix. Oh wow, pretty good. Actually, and I've had those kind of mixes before. I think it's a different one, but some of the ones I've had before, the Parmesan was really, really, you'd have these little crystallized chunks of Parmesan in there. I'm gonna have another piece of this. This is good. I like it. I don't know, let's see. This is a very smooth cheese. I'm surprised for that kind of a mix, how smooth the cheese is. Okay, I like that. I like that. That's a good pairing with the Pinot. I'm not surprised, but it's a good pairing. I like it. Very good. Let me cleanse the palate one more time. We'll try it with the mozzarella. The mozzarella. And this is, the mozzarella's starting to sweat a little bit. It's been a little while. This is, not bad. What are we time? It's 10:45. Wow. Not bad with the mozzarella. Not bad. No, okay. It's not. I think I liked it better with the mix of with the Parmesan in there. I think I like that one better, but it's not bad. Okay, let's try it. Drum roll. Try it with the Trader Joe's Double Cream Gouda, which has actually saved a wine or two in the day. We tried this on the wine stream in the past, and I'll tank up again. Okay, let's give it a try. I'll be very surprised if this doesn't work. Very surprised. Oh yeah, creamy and creamy. Now it doesn't make it creamier than like it does some of the other wines that we've tried, but it does hold its own, and it does complement it very well. I think the wine is starting to get a little tartar. I'm tasting more tannin in it than I was getting before. We'll save the pie for last, because we save the dessert for the end of the meal. And in the meantime, let's go right into let's go right into the birthdays here, because we're running kind of late, and I want to show you this film. I really want you to see it, and I think a few of you have been waiting for me to show it. That Square Guy says, Goose's wife is in the chat. It's great to see you. Good to see you. Favorite California Red under $100? Well, the Camus was my favorite, but it's gone now. That California Red, under $100. Favorite California Red under $100? Oh, wow. So many wines. Let me think about that one. That Square Guy says, okay, I'm here properly now. I wasn't chatting much because I was having a video call with my mom. It's her birthday, but we were still locked down, so we can't go see her. Hold that thought. We're going to do birthdays here in just a moment. It's pretty much time to do that anyway. And, you know, why don't we start that off now? Let's start that off now and give your mom a birthday toast. That Square Guy says, I'm so excited to see your cartoon. So am I. I only see it 1,000 times, but I'm still... It's Barnstar says, why do you... cheeses are such... good universal... Well, why do you think cheeses are such good universal pairings with wines, Rick? I think it makes sense in a number of ways. And that would be a long discussion. We're going to pick that... Hold that thought, too, and we'll see if we can pick up that discussion later. Because, I think that bears some discussing. That's a good question. I think that's an excellent question, as a matter of fact. So... let's go ahead, and by the way, before we start, this is what we're drinking tonight. We're drinking the Vinum Pinot Noir. It's 2017. This is from California, from Napa Valley, so that's what we're drinking. Okay, so let's go right into the birthdays, birthday toasts. Woohoo! And the first birthday, I tell you what, I had a birthday on toast on the list here for number 1, but I think we're going to change that up a little bit. That square guy, your mom, we've got to toast her. And he says, yes, please toast her. She's not having the best birthday as none of us can come to see her, but I'll clip your toast and save it and send it to her. Oh, wow, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that she's that nobody can come see her for her birthday. That's kind of sad, but I'm happy to toast her. I'm really happy to toast her. What's your mom's name? By the way, the square guy's from Australia, from down under. Gina, you've been to Australia, I think on more than one occasion. I know you love the country, and I have yet to go to Australia, but I did send a package to Australia about a month and a half ago to that square guy, and you still haven't received it yet, I guess. But I had a tracking number, but I lost the tracking. I lost track of it literally because after it leaves here, they can't track it any further. So anyway, the square guy says, let's see. That square guy says you can call her Rose Lady. Okay. All right, for Rose Lady. All right, well, that's a sweet name for your mom. Anyway, well, that Rose Lady, her birthday's today. Your mom's birthday's today, right? Okay, well, happy birthday. This is for that Rose Lady. I want to say happy birthday to you, and may you have many, many, many more. Happy birthday. And you know what? I'll toast you again just because I can. Happy birthday. Here's to that Rose Lady. That square guy's mom. Oh, Rose Lady. Okay. Yeah. Rose Lady is her Twitch name. Okay, that's her Twitch name. Okay, that's good. Here's to Rose Lady. One more time. Happy birthday. Excellent. Okay, the next birthday I'm going to toast, and I toasted him last week actually. So Rose Lady her being first is just fine because the person I want to toast next, I actually toasted him last week, but it was so close to the end of the week. I want to make sure if something happened and I wasn't able to get to toast him this week, then I'd get a toast in. Make sense? Yeah. It seemed to make sense at the time. Anyway, here's to my good friend Marlo Anderson. Marlo is the CEO of nationaldaycalendar.com, where we get all our national days from that we'll be toasting here shortly. But Marlo, his birthday was on Friday, the 23rd. Anyway, once again, Marlo, here's to you. Happy birthday, and may you have many more. To my good friend Marlo Anderson. And the next birthday I want to toast is for a good friend, an old friend, and a neighbor, a former neighbor of mine. And when I say former neighbor, it's because that's how we met her. It was years and years ago when we first lived in Winter Springs, next to Oviedo, in Florida, Winter Springs, Florida. And my first home was a townhouse that I purchased. It was a HUD home. I got it on a really good deal. Well, we fixed it up, and it turned out to be a great neighborhood. A great neighborhood. We met so many great people there, so many wonderful people. Some of them have passed since then because it was a long time ago. This was back in the mid-90s. But we had a great community there. It was just an awesome community. We weren't just neighbors. A lot of us were friends. We became really good friends. And I'm not big, and I've mentioned this before, I'm not big on homeowner associations or HOAs. This is the one time where I make an exception to that because our HOA was all, they were my neighbors and all my friends in the HOA, and we got together, we had parties, everybody was really cool to each other, and it was just a great atmosphere. A wonderful neighborhood, probably the best neighborhood I ever lived in. And it's just, I'm not saying that, and for those watching who are my neighbors now, I have great neighbors now where we live now. So it's nothing to diminish our friendships here. But this neighborhood that I lived in Florida was just so close, and the people were just so awesome. And I miss a lot of them. Some of them are no longer with us, unfortunately. A number of them are no longer with us. They've passed away from, over time. But it's just the ones that we still stay in touch with with a lot of the neighbors that we lived with there. There's some of us that have still stayed in touch all these years. One of those people is my good friend Sue, our good friend Sue, because she is a family friend. And one of Chief's friends and my friends, and she used to live across the street from us, in our neighborhood, and Sue she's still with us, and I hope she stays with us for a long, long time to come. Sue is very funny. We're friends on Facebook, and she's always posting some stuff, and it's just she makes my day, because she and I will get on Facebook and with all the political stuff and all the nastiness that's up there these days, Sue has a tendency to just post all this positive stuff, and she will make us laugh all the time. She's just a lot of fun. She always was a lot of fun to talk to. Anyway, her birthday, Sue's birthday, is today. And when I was doing my pre-show prep, just before I started, she walks by, and she says, "Hey, Sue Fisher's birthday is today. Don't forget to toast. Go toast her." And I said, she's already on my list. She's already on my list. I have Sue on my list already. So, Sue, here's to you. Happy, happy birthday, and may you have many more. We miss you, and we hope to see you again sometime soon. Next time we're down in O-Town. Happy birthday. And you know what? I'm going to toast you again, too. Sue, happy birthday. Here's to our good friend Sue Fisher. Another person I want to toast is my and Gina, our cousin Barbara Cottrell. Barbara's birthday is I think Thursday. This coming Thursday. It's on the 20. What is that? 20. I forget. Numbers are running. It's on a Thursday. This coming Thursday. So Barbara, I'm not going to give her age away, but she is our cousin, our third cousin actually, but a cousin. We still think of her as cousin, first cousin, but she's a third cousin technically, but cousins nonetheless. Okay. Okay. Yeah. This is anyway. Barbara, I want to say happy birthday to you. Happy, happy birthday, and may you have many, many more. And I hope you and your family, everyone is doing fine. I hope they're getting through this whole pandemic thing. I hope everybody's doing just fine. Here's to Barbara. Happy birthday. Barbara Cottrell. And I think it does it for the birthdays, but I have one more thing. I have an anniversary toast. An anniversary toast. And this is an anniversary for my good friend Mark and his wife Karen. Mark and Karen Joyce Mitchell. Now, Mark and I go way, way back. Yes, I know. I had a lot of friends. I'm always saying this, right? It seems like almost every week I have at least one of my friends, alumni from WOFL, Channel 35. As many of you know, I used to work at Channel 35, the Fox affiliate in Orlando, and I worked there for about 12 years. And a lot of those folks were, they start off as acquaintances, moved to friends, and became more like family. We really were more like family. And Mark, a great guy. He and his wife Karen are 31 years. This was this past Wednesday, the 21st, 31 years. And I think that deserves a couple of toasts because, I think that's just awesome. That's just awesome. Anyway, here's to Mark and Karen. Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary. And may you have many more. I'm going to toast you again. Here's to Mark and Karen Joyce Mitchell. Happy anniversary. 31 years. Wow, that is pretty cool. Mark's a great guy, by the way. He's really cool. So I guess that does it for the anniversaries and the birthdays. We'll get to the national days in just a minute, but I want to check the chat again. Want to get back to the chat for just a moment and check in there. I don't like to go too long without not checking in on the chat. So, a square guy, I hope your mom has been having a great birthday. I really do. By the way, for those of you, let's see. Wow, the chat's not moving here on Facebook. I've got to scroll down here. Gina says, cheese says, good cheese, right? Yes, it is. Gina says Australia is fabulous, and yeah, I believe it. One of these days, maybe if I can get on a plane and go that far, because that's a long plane ride. I don't do well on planes, as she can tell you. I don't do well at planes at all. But Gina says, let's see, where am I? I'm lost here. Okay, Gina says Australia's fabulous. Yeah, you've been there. And Ed says, toast Courtney S. Wilson. Birthday was Thursday the 22nd. Courtney S. Wilson. Okay, well, toast Courtney. This is for Courtney. I got to do the, right. Thanks, Ed. I've got to do the fireworks, right? Got to do the fireworks. We're doing birthdays. We're toasting birthdays. We have to have the fireworks. Okay, so here's to Courtney S. Wilson. Courtney, I hope you're having a great birthday. I hope it's fabulous, and may you have many, many more. Here's for Courtney. Happy birthday. All right. Awesome. Anyone else having a birthday? Honestly, make sure it's for real. But thanks for the heads up there, Ed. Yeah, Gina says Barbara was our swim teacher when we were kids. Yes, she was, and I've told that story before in the past. I have told that story before, probably on Barbara's last birthday, because I think we toasted her last year about this time too. Gina says they aren't around anymore, but could you toast the anniversary of our parents, October 17th? You know what? I forgot. I think Gina just wants to see me drinking. She wants to see me drink this whole bottle. I think I got enough for one more toast. So our parents, Gina says that our parents, I don't recall actually when their anniversary was. And I do have pictures from anniversary events, I think somewhere back there in the family album. But to be honest, I didn't really remember, and I apologize for this. I really do apologize for this, but I didn't remember that their anniversary was October 17th. But yes, definitely we can toast their anniversary. Do you remember what year? Do you remember what year it was, Gina, that our parents got married? Of course, you know, for those of you who have watched the stream before, I have on different occasions toasted my mom's birthday, and toasted the anniversary of the passing of my dad, both of whom passed away in different times. Both of them passed away from cancer, which is why I'm very, very sensitive to that, as well as Gina and I had a younger brother, Tony, who was just an awesome, awesome person, and he too passed away from cancer in 2006. But my parents, yeah, they are our birth parents, and we should toast them, right? So do you remember what the year was? It would have been in the 50s. Well, yeah, it would have been. I'll look it up. It's okay. But we don't have to get the exact date again. I'm guessing it was probably 1950. Let's see. My dad was in the service, and we did this. We did a whole show. Well, not a whole show, but a lot of the show was on his service, and the incident that he had on the aircraft carrier he was stationed on at the time. But my dad was in the service. I think he was discharged. I want to say it was 1950. I know we talked about it. I have to go back and look. My memory's getting fuzzy. I want to say it was around 1955. The 1955, I think. So probably, I'm just guessing that it was probably 1957, 58, maybe 56. 7, 8. Because I was born in 19... Oh, boy. Do you really want to hear this? This is really going to date me. Okay, I was born in 1959. Okay, I'm 61 years old, going on 62. Yes, I am. That square guy, don't laugh. Yeah, I am that old. 62. I'm 62 years... 61... Look at that. I'm 61, not 62 yet. Okay, 61. But yeah, that's I'm 61 years young, right? Gina, I'm not going to give away your age. I wouldn't do that. I don't want to get clobbered again. Anyway, yes, it was the Wasp. I want to say 54. Yes, I was born in 1959, but yeah, I do remember when I was born, barely, but I do remember. I don't remember the exact incident when I was born. That's all kind of a haze, kind of a haze right there. But I had no memory of when I was born. I just remember at some point I was there. Anyway, so so it must have been, yeah. You want to say 54? Okay, Gina says I want to say 54. I'll tell you what, we'll kind of go. We'll go with that. We'll go with that around 1954. Well, he was still in the service at that time, I think, or was he discharged in 54 or 55? I think it was 50. Maybe it was 55. Anyway, so here's to the anniversary of our parents. My sister and my parents. Gina is in the chat here. This would be for Benjamin, Sebastian, and Carol Lee Jones Savoya. My dad's name was Benjamin, S for Sebastian, Savoya Jr. He always had the junior there. I didn't quite get that, but Benjamin and Carol Lee Savoya. Happy anniversary. Oh, wait a minute. I've got to do I almost forgot, didn't I? Yeah, I got to do it. Whoop. You weren't supposed to see that yet. There we go. I'm hitting the wrong button, so that tells you I've gone too far down in the bottle already. Okay, let me try this again. This is for my parents, Benjamin Sebastian and Carol Lee Jones Savoya. Happy anniversary. We'll toast them again. Happy anniversary to our parents, Mr. and Mrs. Ben Savoya. I think that's the guy. Did I do okay there, Gina? Did I do okay? I didn't mess that up too much, did I? Anyway, so yeah, I hope I didn't mess it up too much. All right, so where were we? That stream of consciousness okay. So we're national days. Should we even bother with the national days? Let me pull up the national days just a moment, because let me pull that up for just a minute. nationaldaycalendar.com. This is the national days for October. What's today? October 24th, 2020, and October. See, I'm actually on the nationaldaycalendar.com website as we speak. nationaldaycalendar.com, and the days of October. Let's see. I think it's kind of a short list today, isn't it? Yes. October. Oh, that's October 1st. What's today? October 24th? Okay. October 24th. We're getting there. I had to scroll down. Okay. All right, it's National Food Day. Well, it's a good thing we're toasting these, because National Food Day, who doesn't like food, right? I like food. I like it way too much. Way too much more than I should. As you can see, National Food Day. Here's to National Food Day. National Bologna Day. Bologna, who doesn't like a bologna sandwich? I do eat some beef bologna every once in a while. National Make a Difference Day. That's the 4th Saturday in October. Can we all make a difference? Let's all try to make a difference. I will make a difference and toast National Make a Difference Day. It's also United Nations Day. United Nations. I'll drink to that. October 25th, National, oh boy, this is getting dangerous. National Greasy Food Day. Give me the bottle. What the heck? National Greasy Food. I know, it's disgusting, right? It is disgusting, but who doesn't like greasy food? We're not supposed to be eating it. It's terrible for us, but who doesn't love greasy food? All right, National Greasy Food Day. National Sourest Day. This is Sourest Day. I'm not clicking on that. National Mother-in-Law Day is the 4th Sunday in October. That square guy, you and Darcy, she's gonna have a mother-in-law here pretty soon, right? You're gonna have a mother-in-law pretty soon, I believe, right? National Mother-in-Law Day. Get ready, National Mother-in-Law Day. Look, I have a mother-in-law. She's getting up there, but and she is not doing real well at all right now, but she is and always has been a bit of a character. But we've always gotten along very well. That's the thing. You know, and especially in the TV shows, the sitcoms of the 60s and the 70s, and probably even today, you know, they always make those jokes about the mother-in-law, you know, the old bat, the mother-in-law kind of thing. Not my words, that's just how they term it. You know, there's this sort of persona of the mother-in-law, especially if it's the guy's mother-in-law, you know, that she's kind of an old witch. Well, okay, literally so if you ever watch the TV show Bewitched. Literally the case, but there's always been a running gag, right? But that's not always true. I mean, a lot of mothers-in-law have been just great, awesome people. And in the case of my mother-in-law, Juliana, she's always been good to me, and she's always treated me like a son, not like a son-in-law, but more like a son. And that we've always had a kind of an understanding with each other, even though I didn't really speak her language. She didn't really speak mine very well, but we always seemed to get along pretty well. So here's to National Mother-in-Law Day. National Mother-in-Law Day. It's also National Chucky Notorious Killer Doll Day. All right, let's skip that one. I'm never a fan of the Chucky movies. Some people like them. Child's Play films. No, we can do without that. I know it's getting close to the time of year when a lot of stuff pops up, but just not a big fan of that. Anyway, so I think that does it for the national days. I think that does it for that. Let me get back to the chat because I've been away from the chats too long. That's, let's see. Oh, that square guy says, my mom is 64 today. That's still young, very young. Well, she's... She's older than me, but she's still very young. I mean, very young. She's doing fine. That was not a diss on your mom. Square. Trust me, it was not at all. There is a lot to be said for people our age. There's a lot to be said. In my case, there's probably a lot to be said that's probably best left unsaid. But I need some more wine. Okay. That square guy says, we already consider them our parents-in-law. Haha, we've been together long enough. How long have you two been together? By the way, that square guy, and I didn't mention this before, but that square guy, he is one of my favorite. He is one of my favorite Twitch streamers. He gets on Twitch, and it's on that square guy. If you get on Twitch, check it out. He gets on, and he and his fiance do cooking shows. They do all these really wonderful cooking shows, and they're baking pies and making cookies and things like that. And then he plays some gaming. He does some gaming. I think his favorite one is the Breath of the Wild, and which my kids are both fans of, by the way. And he also does, which I like to watch because it's very relaxing to watch, he does these Lego videos where he does these live streams where he's building things with Legos. And you sit there and watch the process of him building something with Legos. And I love it. It's just really entertaining to watch. I've always been terrible at putting stuff together with Legos, although I played a lot with my kids, especially when they were younger with Legos. They have a ton. We have a ton of Legos in this house. We have a ton of Legos, and even when my kids were really small and they were using the Duplo Legos, they got started on them early when they were like 2 or 3 years old, and then from there they went on and graduated to the regular Legos, and the Legos are fun. They're great, but it's just fun to watch them because I can't. I'll be honest. I play around with their Legos, but I can't build Legos worth with a hoot. So, but it's fun. I really enjoy it. Anyway, that's what he does. And he and his fiancée, I'm not sure what the date is here, but we have to check that out. We should have live streamed the wedding. Live stream the wedding. That would be awesome. Awesome to live stream your wedding. That would be really awesome. I'd enjoy that. I'd show up for that for sure. I'll bring a bottle of wine with me too. Of course, I can't go down to Australia for it, but definitely be here and virtually attend that if you did. That square guy says she doesn't mind being considered old. My parents had me pretty late in life, and he says we've been together for 6 years. Oh, wow! You know what? Here's to that square guy. Here's to his fiance. 6 years, and boy, I definitely, if you can stream that wedding, I'll be there toasting you. I'll toast you. He says, ha ha ha, a lot of people asked us to live stream the wedding. Not sure about that. I know that can be a little bit, especially these days. I mean, we're talking about, this is 2020, especially during this pandemic and everything, where there's so much going on and everybody's online, you know, Zooming and you know, doing Facebook live streams and doing, hey, I mean, we do, at work, where I work at, buy2areas.com, we do quite a bit of, we do all of our podcasts now, remotely now. We're doing it through Microsoft Teams, and we do some live meetings on Microsoft Teams with video too, and you know, you got Zoom, and you got, what's the other one? This is terrible, because I want a camera from them. I can't think of the name of the company right offhand. Oh boy, Mr. Brand's he's gonna come after me for this one if he's watching. But if he's in the chat, anyway, but. You know, everybody's doing this sort of thing now, so I don't know that it would really be too out of, I mean, I would say if it was last year or the year before that, it would be kind of tacky to live stream the event, maybe. But these days, I think it would be actually kind of cool. It's in vogue. So that's my argument for him. I just want to show up to a wedding, because I haven't been to a wedding in eons, and I love weddings. I love them a heck of a lot more than I love funerals, I'll tell you that. And I've been to more funerals than weddings in the last few years, so I'd rather just stick to the weddings. As Barnstar says, you'd better do the Lego next weekend square. Anyway, once again, here's to that square guy and his fiancée, Darcy. 6 years. Looking forward to the wedding. Okay, where were we on? Okay, this is, we're getting on to cartoons. We're going to get to, so Gina says, Chucky, she's older than you by 1 year. Yeah, she's older by a few years. Yeah, she's older by me in a couple of years. 1 year? No, wait, I'm only 61. Okay, so, all right, that definitely does it for the national days, right? Before we get to the big event here with the cartoons and stuff, Ed, you still with me? You haven't fallen asleep yet? Are you still with me? Because your name's in the credits. Your name is in the credits. Okay, where was I? Okay, I've lost my place. Here we are. So, before I get on to cartoons and stuff, I just want to remind everybody that we are still in hurricane season until November 30th. Please get a weather radio. Get a weather radio. Buy2wayradios.com. Use the promo code WINESHOW. That's WINESHOW. 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 You can get 5% off your order if you enter Wine Show, and it's good not just on the weather radios, but it's good for any radios. If you're into marine radios, GMRS radios, ham radios, my son and I are both ham radio operators, and we also have a GMRS license. The family has a GMRS license. You can actually license your whole family with a GMRS license, one license here in the U.S. Or if you have a boat, marine radios, airband radios, whatever kind of radios you want, with a number of different license-free options, business radios, you can get your radios at buy2wayradios.com. Put the promo code WINESHOW in there, and you can save 5% off your order. By the way, I'm excited about this. I'm actually excited, and just for full disclosure, I have to say this, for full disclosure, I am the product manager for buy2wayradios.com. Now, I don't make any extra for it. I want to be absolutely clear. I say this every episode. I want to make it absolutely clear that I am not making any extra money doing this, promoting this. This is really the promo code is for you. This promo code is for you to take advantage of, because I am the product manager by buy2wayradios.com. And my boss said, hey, give them a promo code. I am not being paid to endorse it on my show. Yes, I am paid during the week to do various other things, all the other things that I do in my job, such as writing on the blog posts and doing all the product-related stuff, testing new products, and doing the videos. We have a whole, by Two-Way Radios, we have a lot of cool things if you're into radios at all. We have forums. We have a Two-Way Radio forum, which I'm the administrator of. We have the podcast that we do, the Two-Way Radio Show podcast, which we are about to go into our 10th year. After this year, we're going into our 10th year on the Two-Way Radio Show podcast. One of the longest running podcasts on two-way radios, on radios in general. And which I'm quite proud of. We were actually nominated for an award, for a People's Choice Podcast Award last year. The Two-Way Radio Show podcast was. And we do a lot of videos. We have you can go to Buy Two-Way Radios on YouTube, and you can see all of our videos. I'm in a lot of them. Not all of them, but I'm in a lot of them. I produce almost all of them, except the manufacturer videos, but I'm in a lot of them. We do tutorial videos, product videos, a lot of other different types of videos, but that's what I do there. And I write a lot of the articles on our blog at buy2wayradios.com, a lot of our articles and things like that, put up a lot of the products. So that's basically what I do there. I've been doing that for almost 10 years. Oh my goodness. I almost forgot. Okay, I have to put up the, I shouldn't do this. This show is not about me. The show is not about me, but I do have to make an exception here. If you all don't mind for just a moment, I do have to make an exception because I forgot my own anniversary. My own anniversary. All right, put up the fireworks one more time. Happy anniversary to me. This is my anniversary, my 10-year anniversary at buy2wayradios.com as a product manager at buy2wayradios.com. This is my 10-year anniversary with Buy Two-Way Radios. Happy anniversary to me. Boy, if that isn't self-aggrandizing, I don't know what is. Yeah, it is actually today, the 24th, and now the year that I started on the 24th, it was a Monday, and I started that Monday working for Buy Two-Way Radios, and there's a very interesting story to that. I might go into that another time, but it was just it's been an awesome, the 10 years working. The parent company, the name of the parent company is Cricket Ventures, and we have several websites that we do, but one of our main websites is bytwoway.radios.com, and it's been, the last 10 years has been such an awesome experience. I work with some of the greatest people. They have become more like family to me. I know I often talk about my family at WFL back in the day, and they will always be family to me. My current job, my current employee, it is a family-run business, by the way. It is a family-run business. But they have become, all those people there have become pretty much like family to me. We've worked together for 10 years. I miss them terribly because we're all, since this pandemic started, and this is what happened when I left for Podfest back in March of this year. We went to Podfest. I just took a week off to go to Podfest with Tommy and Tia and Chi. And I was planning to come right back to work. As soon as we got back from Podfest, I was ready to go back to work in the office, go back to the office because I have a really nice office there. And, my boss, the owner, called me up and said, well, don't come in today. We're changing everything. Everybody's going to start working from home. We're going to have to work from home for a while. And everything's changing because of this pandemic. So since I got back, I have not stepped foot in my office over in Rock Hill. And it's at first it was kind of okay because I was getting a lot done here in my own office, my home office in the studio here. I could do a lot, pretty much 90% of what I did at work I could do online. So it was no big deal. It wasn't like a big deal that I could come in here and just sit down in the morning and just do my work because I was already doing most all of it online anyway. The only difference was I was having to make that 35-minute commute from Charlotte to Rock Hill, South Carolina, over the border to go to work. And that actually saved me some time because instead of doing that, I could come in during that the commute time and actually get started earlier, and I'd be getting that much more done through the day, and which was actually not a bad thing at all, but the trade-off is that there's some things that I really want to be at the office to do, and I haven't been able to sit down at my desk at the office to do it. And there's some things that are a little bit cumbersome to do. And I think the biggest thing, the biggest negative on this is that I haven't seen my coworkers, the people that I love working with every day. I haven't been able to see them physically in person since March. That's 9 months, 8-9 months. Now it's kind of sad because we email, we text. I'm chatting with them all the time. We have constant chat going, but it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing, and I do miss them. I really miss my work family over at By Two-Way Radio. So here's to them. Here's to all my work family there. And hopefully this pandemic will be over sometime soon and I can get back to the office at least a few days a week, go back and commute back to the office a few days a week and work there instead of doing everything from home. So this is my work family. By Two-Way Radios. That Square Guy says, that happy anniversary, Rick. Thank you. And he says, hey, could you do a raffle in your chat to pick up the best man for your wedding? Oh, that's Barnstar talking to that Square Guy. Let me go back to the chat here. Wake and Aware, this was fun. Thanks, Rick. Gina, please stick around for a few more minutes. I have a film to show you. You don't want to miss this. You really honestly don't want to miss this. Because you've never seen this film. Ed, you haven't seen it in almost 40 years, right? All right, we're going to show it here in just a couple of minutes. Let me go back and because it is getting late. Let's go back to the topic at hand. Maybe we should just skip that. Maybe we should go on to the film. I want to talk about cartoons. Cartoons. What was your favorite cartoon? Your cartoon character. I have my favorite. I have my list of favorites. Let's talk about our favorite cartoon characters. Gina, I know you have some. Ed, you have yours. I know everybody has favorite cartoons that you used to. Do you watch or still watch in reruns? I'll tell you my favorites. I have a lot of favorites. Some of my favorite cartoons. I'm going to give you my top 10 list of my favorite cartoons. I'm going to do that right now. My top 10 classic cartoons of all time. Well, by the way, let me go back to this for just a minute. Just for those who are showing up late, this is the Vinum Cellars Pinot Noir. Vinum Cellars Pinot Noir. It's a 2017. It's actually pretty decent. I'll give a final review here shortly, but that is what we're drinking tonight. Okay, so back to this. Top 10 classic cartoons of all time. Oh boy, I really messed that up, didn't I? Number one on my list was Johnny Bravo. Normally I did 10 through 1, but I kind of accidentally clicked the first one by accident, so we're going to go 1 through 10. My number one classic cartoon of all time was Johnny Bravo. I was always a big fan of Johnny Bravo. It ran on the Cartoon Network in the 90s. And that's why I consider it a classic, because it was still running in the 90s. That was still, 30 years ago. And enjoy that. It was a lot of fun. You know, Johnny Bravo, the character, was kind of a satire, a takeoff on, of course, Elvis Presley. It was kind of like the Elvis Presley that nobody wanted to be. He was Johnny Bravo. Classic stuff. So that was my number one. My number two was Johnny Quest. Johnny Quest is another. Let me go back here if I can put it up there. There we go. Johnny Quest. I'll tell you why I like Johnny Quest. Anybody remember Johnny Quest? That square guy says, can always go for some Johnny. Whoa, mama. Yeah. Whoa, mama. Hey, mama. Yeah, that was Johnny and his mom. He was like the guy Johnny Bravo was the guy who was like the quintessential mama's boy, and his mom doted on him. But she could be a little tough with him too sometimes. But boy, was he kind of a goof? Was he a real goofball? Yeah, totally clueless. That was Johnny Bravo, totally clueless. Anyway, Johnny Quest was number two. One of my all-time favorites was Johnny Quest. Produced by Hanna-Barbera. By the way, Johnny Bravo and Johnny Quest were both produced by Hanna-Barbera, just in different times. Johnny Quest was produced back in the late 60s, Johnny Bravo in the early 90s. And Johnny Quest was really cool because I liked it. I thought it was the coolest cartoon on at the time, because they weren't your typical cartoon. They weren't your typical cartoon for kids, especially. They were very realistic about the way they did a lot of things. I mean, if you're not familiar with Johnny Quest, it was Johnny and his friend Haji from India, and Johnny's dog Bandit, and then his dad, Dr. Benton Quest, and then his Benton Quest assistant or protector, bodyguard, I guess you want to call it, that was in there. This was the four of them, and they would fly around the world solving all kinds of international incidents and mysteries and stuff like that were related to science. And Dr. Quest would be sent off. He worked for the government, basically. Dr. Quest worked for the U.S. government. He'd be sent off on all these little missions, and he'd take Johnny and Haji and Steve Bannon, right? And the dog with him. Dog's name was Bandit, and they go all these different places, taking care of all these different mysteries and things like that. And it was an awesome show for a number of reasons. One, it was probably the most realistic cartoon. I mean, in terms of, and I don't mean in realistic terms of of premise, but I mean, realistic in terms of what they did in the cartoon. The bad guys, oh yeah, the bad guys were all kind of like Dr. No type, James Bond type, Dr. No bad guys. Yeah, they really were. But the cool thing about it was that the things that they used, the equipment they used, and the situations that they got themselves into were very, very realistically portrayed, very well handled, and down to the point where some of the weapons that they used, like if some guy was firing with a rifle or a machine gun, it wasn't just a rifle and machine gun, it was a specific type of rifle or machine gun, a weapon that you could almost recognize if you saw, watched them fire it and you knew the weapons. And they would do a lot of things that were very unconventional for an animated show at the time. For one thing, people actually died. People, if the bad guy if somebody got shot or blown up or something like that, they were really dead. They killed them. They killed them. It was for real. It was for realsies, as I would say. So it was very, very realistically portrayed. If somebody got hit or socked, they really got hurt, and they often got hurt pretty bad. So it was very realistically portrayed, this show. There's some cool documentaries on how they did the Johnny Quest series and a little bit of some that were a little bit eye openers for me. But that was one of my favorite Hanna-Barbera shows. Both two shows that had the name Johnny in it. So Tom Antio says, let's see. CM Cinder says, I'm missing some of this chat, right? Avatar, okay, they're talking about, that Square Guy says, I'm a big fan of the original Powerpuff Girls and Dexter's Laboratory too, and Ed, and Eddie. Okay, let's talk about that for a minute. That's back from the 90s too, and yes, I saw all of those. I was never a big fan of Ed, and Eddie. That kind of, for some reason, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I couldn't get into it, but I did used to watch Dexter's Laboratory, and I did used to watch the Powerpuff Girls. The Powerpuff Girls were they were cheesy, but I watched it anyway because it was fun to watch, just because it was so cheesy. Dexter's Laboratory made me laugh quite a bit. I actually enjoyed that film, especially the fact that you had Dexter and he had his annoying little sister, and she was always getting in there trying to muddle things up, no matter what he was doing, and that just always struck me. And sometimes she saved his bacon, so to speak. Sometimes she would get in there and save his bacon every once in a while. So lots of times she got in the way and messed things up, but sometimes she would actually inadvertently fix things for him. And so I like that. I like that show. Avatar. And you know what, CM Center, Ed, and Eddie was around when you were little, but you were really, really little at that time. It's really, that Square Guy says, really stupid, but bloody hilarious, holds up too. And Tom Antio says, Animaniacs is having a reboot next month. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And I'm going to get to that in just a moment. Well, we really sparked something here, didn't we? Ed says, I remember Johnny Quest. Yes, you and I would. We pretty much grew up with Johnny Quest. Classic Hanna-Barbera stuff. There are a couple more Hanna-Barbera titles here that were favorites of mine. But here's my number 3. My number 3 is Roadrunner, the Roadrunner cartoons. I absolutely love the Roadrunner cartoons, and I don't think I even need to explain why. It's just, anybody that's ever seen a Roadrunner, ever seen Wile E. Coyote trying to catch the Roadrunner, all his failed attempts, I think there are few things funnier than trying to watch this hapless coyote, this idiotic coyote trying to catch the Roadrunner, and how he completely fails, and how this bird just runs circles around him, literally, in some cases. The Roadrunner cartoons always cracked me up. And Warner Brothers, of course, and a lot of the Warner cartoons were hilarious. And of course, a lot of that was during the Chuck Jones era of the Warner cartoons, and just great stuff. The gags that they had in there, the visual, it was all visual, but the gags in there were just hilarious. They're timeless. They're timeless. That's one of those type of cartoon series that never goes out of style because everybody can. It's all visual, and everybody can see it and appreciate the gags. That Square Guy says that I was going to say Roadrunner. I remember the first time I watched Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner when I was about 9 or 10. Not sure I'd ever laughed so hard before in my life. You know what? If you go back and watch them now, they're just as funny now as they were there. That's one of the things. That's one of the marks. That's one of the marks of a really, really good cartoon. The mark of a really good cartoon, or any film for that matter, is how well it holds up over the years and the decades and the generations. If it holds up well, and there are a number of cartoons that I've watched that really didn't hold up all that well, but that was one, the Roadrunner, Wile E. Coyote cartoons. They're like timeless. They always. I had seen them when I was a kid. I saw them when I was young, and then more recently, I was watching one just the other day. I think I pulled one up, and it was just, and I'm still laughing at it. I mean, I've seen some of those cartoons 100 times, and I'm still laughing. I used to edit some of those cartoons when I worked at Channel 35 because we used to run the cartoons, and then we'd show commercial breaks, and I have to put commercial breaks in, or sometimes I have to edit a few down for time, not very often, but occasionally, and they were on little reels of film. 60mm films. They were just shorts. That's why they called them shorts, because they were on very short reels, one-reelers. They were one-reelers, as they'd call. And, you know, they last between 6 and 9 minutes, the average time for one-reeler. So, but the thing is, I would watch these things, and every time I'd seen the same gag 1,000 times, and they still crack me up today. They still crack me up. So that's the mark of a cartoon that's timeless. That Square Guy says, yeah, definitely just as funny now. I want to watch some of the new Looney Tunes cartoons they've been doing this year too. They are meant to be really good. And Barnstar says, ooh, Batman the Animated Series. Good question though. Which one? Which iteration of Batman the Animated Series? Because there have been several of them. The one that they had running in the 90s when I was working at WFL, I liked the best. It was a really good series, but they've had different iterations of it since then. And Ed Anthony says Space Angel. Space Angel before that. Yes, Space Angel. I'd forgotten about that show. And Ed Anthony says big fan of Acme orders. Yeah, one of the running gags in the Roadrunner films. Everything that was ordered from Acme. You know what today? You know what Acme would be considered today? Come on, I'll give you one guess. One guess. Okay, Wile E. Coyote was always ordering something, whether it was a rocket or a slingshot or something from Acme, right? You know what I think of when I think of Acme? You know what the first thing that pops into my head is? I'll give you a hint. It's I don't know if I need to give you a hint. I'll let you sit on that for a minute or two and think about it, but then I'll come back and tell you. I'll tell you what I think of when I think Acme today. The first thing I think, because Acme had everything. Okay, that was my hint. That was my hint. Wile E. Coyote could, and not only him, but anybody who in any of the Warner cartoons ordered something was always ordered from Acme, right? Roger Rabbit, they made fun of that in the Roger Rabbit movie. Who from Roger Rabbit, where they'd order stuff from Acme, and they had the huge warehouse with all the Acme stuff in it. They had everything. You know, you could order anything from Acme, and it would arrive instantly. What crosses your mind? What is the one company that crosses your mind when I said that? What's the one? I'll tell you what the one company that crosses my mind here in just a minute. But let's see if anybody else guesses it. We'll see if anybody else guesses it. I'm just, somebody's got to come up with this. Okay, I'll give you a hint. You can order anything from it, and it shows up almost instantly. That Square Guy says, not sure what you might be referring to. I think we know. I think we all know. Ed Anthony says, Ed says, a big fan of Acme orders. Yes. So, all right, where was I? Okay, let's get through this list. Okay, Roadrunner is number 3. Number 4 is Donald Duck. One of my favorite cartoon characters of all time is Donald Duck. Just because he was look, Mickey was a nice guy. Mickey was nice. Sometimes Mickey was too nice, and some of the cartoons got a little bit too docile because Mickey was so nice. Okay? And I'm not putting down Mickey Mouse cartoons because the quality of it was great, and I like Mickey Mouse. But my favorite of those, and yeah, of course, we could mention Goofy too, because Goofy was, well, he was goofy. But Donald was an enigma to himself. He was more real world than any of those two characters. Goofy was way out there. Mickey was too nice to be any real, the epitome of any real person, I guess. But Donald he epitomized the average person. You know, Donald could be nice when he wanted to be. He could be bad-tempered. He could be suspicious. He was Donald. He was just Donald Duck, right? So, and especially in particular, the Donald Duck cartoons that I really enjoyed the most were the ones where he interacted with Chip and Dale. Chip and Dale were always just bugging the heck out of him. And they were just trying to do their thing. And Chip and Dale weren't trying to be malicious or anything. They were just trying to, store up their nuts for the winter or whatever it was they were doing. Just trying to do their own thing. They were doing their own thing, and the unfortunate part is they were doing it in Donald's yard or in his garden or or in his house or whatever. And then Donald would just go off the rails and he'd just go off on them, and of course it always ended badly for Donald, but it was just fun. That was just a lot of fun watching some of that. And of course, it wasn't the only thing. Donald had interactions with other characters too. I don't want to go into all that because we're running out of time. But here's my number 5. Number 5, Animaniacs. I love Animaniacs, and even though I don't know that you wouldn't put it in the classic category of classic old cartoons like when I was a kid, but definitely put it in the classic category because Animaniacs is almost 40 years old. Animaniacs was a production of Steven Spielberg, who loved Warner cartoons, as I do, and he produced Animaniacs, which is basically a send-up for Warner Brothers. And Animaniacs, just the zaniness from Warner, I think, was really, in a lot of ways, captured but enhanced by Animaniacs. They got a couple things off a little bit, but for the most part, I think Animaniacs captured the spirit of the early Warner cartoons for the most part. They really did. And some of the stuff is so off the wall, but it's updated for modern, for modern day at the time. But as Tommy said, and Tommy Antio said, he's in the chat there on Twitch. As Tommy Antio said, he almost caught me there on that earlier when he mentioned Animaniacs. But he did mention that Animaniacs they're doing a reboot, not a reboot, but they're doing they're reviving it, I should say. They're reviving Animaniacs for, I think, did he say 13 episodes? Is that right, Tom Antio? I got lost in the chat here. Sorry about that, folks. I lost in the chat because I got kind of caught up in some of the shows here. But yeah, he says they cycled through about 6 different animation studios. Animaniacs was outsourced, so it was sometimes inconsistent. Yes, he says yes, 13 episodes. So I was correct. They're doing 13 episodes of Animaniacs. And Seam Cinder says, sometimes I get the jokes or the theme song stuck in my head for Animaniacs. Ed says, starts with A. Yes, Are you talking about Acme or Animaniacs? Animaniacs uses Acme too, because it's all Warner based. That and Tiny Toons, Tiny Toon Adventures. That's another thing, Tiny Toons Adventures, the second generation of the next generation of what's Star Trek. The Next Generation is to Star Trek the original series. Tiny Toons Adventures is to the Looney Tunes, right? I don't know. I still like the original better, to be honest. Okay, so that was 5 Animaniacs. I love Animaniacs. Number 6, Looney Tunes. Now, I know I have Looney Tunes listed along with Roadrunner cartoons, but the reason I separated that is because, in my opinion, I think the Roadrunner cartoons in the Chuck Jones era, it's a genre unto itself. I think it's almost a separate category, because Looney Tunes, they did a lot of different things in Looney Tunes, but Roadrunner was consistently, specifically for Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote, it was its own, I mean, it had its own universe going in a sense. So, in a way, in certain ways. So that's why I listed it separately. But the other reason I did is because I only had 10 slots, and I had to pick. I mean, there's so many of the Looney Tunes that I love. I grew up on Looney Tunes stuff, but I grew up on the Warner classic cartoons. Looney Tunes is a label for the Warner cartoons of the day. But Bugs Bunny, another favorite of mine. I love Bugs Bunny, love Bugs, and Daffy. Daffy used to rub me the wrong way a lot, but later on, I think Daffy. I kind of like some of the Daffy cartoons, especially ones where he interacted with Porky Pig, with a Porky and Daffy combo. You know, they team up and do different things on the Porky and Daffy cartoon. Those were kind of funny. Those were pretty funny. But Foghorn Leghorn, one of my favorite Warner characters, believe it or not, was, and yeah, people say, "Oh, I thought Elmer Fudd was your favorite because you can do Elmer Fudd." Well, yeah, I can do Elmer Fudd. You know, I'm hunting a wabbit, you know, that kind of thing. But the reason that I like Foghorn Leghorn was because he was so off the wall. He was such a straight, he was basically his own straight man. Foghorn Leghorn was essentially his own straight man. And he would mess up on his own. But some of the cartoons where he'd interact with the dog that was guarding the hen house. And he and the dog that were guarding the hen house were always playing. They were always trying to trick each other, to pull stunts on each other. Anyway, Foghorn Leghorn, one of my favorite Warner characters. You know, I said that's a joke, son. I made it funny. You know, that kind of thing. And I just love that. I just love that. That's because you've done an Elmer Fudd cosplay, Rick. And, well, maybe. I've got the head for it, right? Elmer's pretty bald. He's balder than I am, though, actually. But yeah, I guess I could be Elmer Fudd in a way. So that's yeah. So number 7 on my list. Number 7 is Rocky and Bullwinkle. Love Rocky and Bullwinkle. Rocky and Bullwinkle. It's very, very classic animation, and the jokes. They're very, very. Some of it's subtle, but a lot of it. Some of the jokes that some people wouldn't get, even little kids that wouldn't get the jokes. But if you're an adult, this really was an adult cartoon because a lot of the jokes were just I think they were really more themed for adults, people that would get them, and some of them were topical, but Rocky and Bullwinkle, another classic. The number 8 on my list. Where's my list again? Let's see. Here we go. Top 10. Number 8 on my list is the Flintstones. The Flintstones. Love the Flintstones. Fred and Wilma and Barney and Betty and Pebbles and Bam Bam and Dino. You know. Yeah, that Dino. And I think the Rubbles had I think a kangaroo kind of character that is called Honk Honk. I can't remember the character, but anyway, So the Flintstones, another classic. It's top 10. I used to watch the Flintstones. I'd come home from school every day, along with Star Trek and Addams Family and the Munsters and let's see, all the other shows that I watched back then during the day, Gilligan's Island and things like that. Number 9 on my list was The Simpsons. The Simpsons, I'll tell you what, there are some things about The Simpsons that I don't like too much because they make fun of everything, and some of it's irreverent, and some of it I think crosses the line sometimes. That's why Family Guy isn't on the list, because I think Family Guy crosses the line a lot for me, and I know a lot of people love Family Guy, but it just just not, to me, it's not family friendly in my opinion. Okay, but The Simpsons kind of gets close and crosses the line every once in a while, but The Simpsons is so incredibly funny. And it's been running so long, about 30 years or so. It's one of the longest running. And you know what? Before The Simpsons, The Flintstones was basically the longest running primetime series, because The Flintstones aired at primetime. It was not a Saturday morning cartoon. It was not a weekday morning cartoon. It aired in primetime on TV. The Simpsons had, sometime back, surpassed The Flintstones as the longest running cartoon on TV in history. And that Square Guy says The Simpsons season 1 through 12 are everything to me. Yeah, that's Tom Antio says, yeah, they did some weird reboot stuff with Flintstones and Scooby-Doo back during the New 52 DC Comics. I think that it was weird. All right, but rounding this off, the last one. What do you think the last one's going to be? What do you think? I'll tell you what the last one's going to be. Astro Boy. I'll tell you why Astro Boy is on my personal list of the top 10 classic cartoons of all time. When I was a kid, when I was about 6 or 7 years old, I loved Astro Boy. Aside from Popeye cartoons, I loved Astro Boy. Astro Boy was and he wasn't even a real boy; he was a robot. The original boy died, and so the premise is that the professor, in his grief, built a robot with rockets for legs that could fly around, and in the image of his son that passed away, and he became known as Astro Boy. That was Astro Boy. But that series fascinated me, and that was my first foray. That was my first exposure into Japanese anime. My first exposure to Japanese anime. Of course, I like Speed Racer too. That came along with Astro Boy. In fact, in the '60s, those were basically the only two shows, anime shows, that were imported from Japan that were shown on network television, at least in my area, on local TV in my area, Astro Boy and Speed Racer. But Astro Boy, flying high in the sky, he may be small, but only in size. Yes. And Barnstar says Flintstones was only 6 seasons. Yes, it was, but it has been in syndication for 50 years. And they did movies. They did The Man Called Flintstone. They did a movie. They did a theatrical film on the Flintstones. Of course, the Jetsons, too. I like the Jetsons. That Square Guy says, went to the Osamu Tezuka Museum while we were in Japan last year, creator of Astro Boy, and it was amazing. I'll bet it was. I would have liked to have seen that. I bet it was amazing. Let's see, and as Barnstar says, and I say only in comparison to animated series these days. That Square Guy says, yeah, Scooby-Doo is too sacred. You know what? I considered putting Scooby-Doo on the list, and I would have too, if it wasn't for those meddling kids. I would have if it wasn't for those meddling kids. But I couldn't put everything on the list. I mean, the list would be the top 1,000 classic cartoons of all time if I did that. I only had room for 10. But those are my 10 top classic cartoons of all time. Want to see them again? One more time. The top 10 classic cartoons of all time. in my opinion, my personal opinion. But everyone has their opinion. Although I think Ed agrees with me that a lot of those are on the list. Ed says view Daffy Duck's Rhapsody if you never have. Ed, you know I've seen Daffy Duck's Rhapsody. You know I've seen that film. I think didn't we watch it together once, or maybe not. But yes, Daffy Duck's Rhapsody. It's a spoof on the Blue Danube, right? No, it was the yeah, you know what I'm talking about. It's the section where Daffy plays the ugly duckling in the ugly duckling sequence. I remember that. All right, so the moment we've all been waiting for, and of course I think everybody's pretty much gone now, but I think the moment we've all been waiting for, we're going to, boy, we went way longer. Sorry, Chi. I tried. I was trying to make this move faster, but it can't happen. But anyway, so the movie that I have for you tonight, I'm going to set you up. I'm going to set this up for you a little bit. Let me get back over here to some of the streams. Okay, I'm back on Facebook. All right, the moment you've all been waiting for, and hopefully it'll work. Back in 1981, I used to dabble in some animation, some film animation, and I don't want to oversell this, folks. I really do not want to oversell this. It's not as big as you think it's going to be. But I had a character that when I was a little kid, 13 or 14, and I used to do cutout animation and stuff. And I had a character called Mr. Mute. And he was mute because at the time I was working on standard 8mm film, which had no sound. And so he was mute. He didn't talk. Everything was visual. And I did a few little cartoons with him in it, little short, really, really short cartoons. And later on, when I started dealing with Super 8 sound film, I changed his name. It's basically the same character. I changed a couple of things. Like his feet used to be just blocks. They're just like little blocks because I couldn't draw feet very well. I was not an artist. I'm not, still not an artist. I was not an artist. So I couldn't draw feet very well. So I just drew these little blocky blocks for feet. And as the time went on, I changed his name to Harry Oglethorpe. And put him in a couple of cartoons. The first one I did was one that I haven't shown yet. Was one that I did as a project for high school. When I was working when I was doing my AV class in high school, and it was to get a grade. And I made an animated film. Nobody had done that. Nobody was doing that sort of thing in high school. Nobody was. So, and it kind of, even though it was kind of a goofy film, it still made me an automatic A because nobody was doing that sort of thing. It was pretty innovative. So when I got out of high school, I took the character and we made a film. I want to make a couple films, 2 or 3 films actually. And we made a film with my friends called Harry's Climb. But it's a very simple premise, very simple film about a guy trying to climb up a mountain. Without any further ado, I'm going to show it to you, and I do have some samples here of some stuff here from the film, and you can ask me any questions you want for a short period of time before we have to close the stream down, and I will try to answer them for you. But without any further ado, here is Harry's Climb. Sorry, it took me a minute or two to get back to the video here because it's on a delay. I was watching on a delay here on YouTube and Twitch. So it is what it is. I mean, it was just, a simple story. A guy tries to climb up a mountain and he falls down. There are a couple of little things about this film that actually, it would have been funnier, it would have been better because the punchline was completely omitted from this film. I'll tell you. Well, I appreciate that. And Darcy Stardust is in the chat. Darcy, it's great to see you. I'm glad you're here. Tom Antio says, so now I've seen this famous Harry's Climb you've been telling me about. The score guy, man of so many talents. Well, here's the thing. You know what, Ed? I couldn't have done it without you. I couldn't have done it. Ed's in the chat in here on Facebook, and you saw Ed's name, and Anthony. His name was in the title, the opening credits. One of the Ink and Paint crew, and there's a lot of work that goes into that sort of thing. And at least in that period of time, there's a lot of work that went into making an animated cartoon because that was not done with CG or anything else like that. It was done old school. It was done old school with, you shoot it on film. I'm actually going to show you. You got a minute or two. I'm going to show to you actually what the process is for making that happen. Darcy says, I've been watching. You're on the TV. Thank you. I'm honored. I'm honored. Okay, well, first you come up with the script for animation, and it's for an animated cartoon, and at least back in the day, before CG and before everything was just kind of moved to computers. But when you were actually doing cell animation, what a cell is a sheet of cellulose acetate, a clear sheet of plastic, basically, where they put the images on, and then you shoot it in front of a film camera, an actual film camera. This is the actual, I'm going to show you the actual Harry's Climb film. This is the actual film that you just saw. This is on Super 8, Super 8 sound film. I don't know if you can see it real up close. There's a soundtrack on the side, on the edge, on each edge of the film. There's a soundtrack. Both of those magnetic stripes could be recorded on, but the one on this side next to the sprocket holes was generally one that was a balance stripe. So the film would remain straight and flush in the gate of the projector. The camera and the projector was going through the projector. The other side was the main stripe, and that's where most of the music and everything else was on. But this is the film, 8mm. It's 8 millimeters wide. That's what I shot it on. This is actually Super 8. And this is 3 minutes and 22 seconds of this film. This is the original. What you're looking at is the actual film, the original film that the transfer was done on. And so anyway, that's, if you're shooting on film back in the day, you had to shoot it one frame at a time on film. And the way you did that is you had all these individual drawings. The way you started off with a script. You had a script of if somebody was going to talk, you talk, or if there was just action, you lay out all the action and storyboard it. And you'd have a storyboard. If there's all action, you do it. And I think everybody knows what storyboard is because it's still done in film today. That process started in animation because back in the early days of animation, that's how they did. They put up these little placards on the wall and bulletin boards. They storyboarded all the shots in the film and laid out how everything was supposed to look. And it wasn't until I think about the 70s or so that they started storyboarding live action films that way. So they could, because a lot of them became effects films. And like Star Wars. Star Wars was largely, a lot of that was storyboarded because they had to lay out all the effects. So a lot of films today are storyboarded. But back in the day, they had to do that for animated films so that all the animators could get a visual perspective of what they were supposed to be doing. And then what they do is they come up with some music and they lay out a music track. This is actually a score sheet. I don't know if you can see this too well. This is actually a musical score sheet that's divided up by bars and by frames so that they could score the music out and it would all match up everything that was happening. This right here is this is a sample, but this right here is an exposure sheet. This gave the cameraman instructions when they got all the artwork. Every piece of artwork was numbered and lettered and mapped out here on each frame. Each one of these lines, each one of these rows represents a frame of film. And they had like tens of hundreds of these things, thousands of them sometimes in a feature film, that the cameraman had to look at each one of these sheets and know exactly what he had to put down in front of the camera to take one frame of film. And that's what we did for Harry's Climb. We had exposure sheets for Harry's Climb that laid out all the cells and the backgrounds and everything were numbered and lettered and laid out exactly how there were any instructions for any zooming or any exposure or anything like that had to be done. So this, as you can tell from here, you might recognize this, but this is, I don't know if you can see this very well, but because the lights are so hot, but this is the actual drawing that I did the animation on, drawing on paper for the shot where he's coming down, he's falling down into, it's actually after he takes his rope and throws it up, and then he falls down on coming down. This is when he's coming down onto the ground. And this was the drawing, the actual original drawing. Now, after the drawing is done, the way this used to work, after the drawing was done, then you would take it to the ink and paint department, and the inker would ink each drawing on what's called a cell. This was a cellulose acetate sheet, the individual cell, and he would ink it. He would trace it. He would trace the drawing, put this cell on top of the drawing, and he'd trace the drawing onto the cell with basically like an India ink or whatever it is, stick to the cellulose sheet, and that's how he did that. That's what he inked it. So after the cell was inked, then would go to the paint department, and that Square Guy says, sometime now we don't even get a script, just a storyboard. Mad Max Fury Road is like that. Yeah, that's true. A lot of effects films are like that, just storyboards and not much for a script. Storyboarding is, it's Barnstar says, storyboarding is fun. I made a lot of Macromedia, now Adobe Flash short animations in the late 90s, early 2000s. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. That Square Guy says, wow, you have so many artifacts. Well, yeah, the few that I saved. Anyway, so this is the finished cell. What happens is after the cell is inked, then you turn it over. It gets sent to the paint department, and it's turned over on the opposite side, and the painters go in and fill in with all the paint. And they follow a painting guide on what colors every character is supposed to be and what's supposed to be colored, and they pull the paints out and then color them those colors and try to keep them as consistent as possible. And then when you flip it over, then it looks nice and smooth on the front, nice and glossy and smooth in the front. So that's what it looks like on the front when the actual cell is completed. Then it's turned over. Actually, I got another one here. This is from a film we didn't finish. There was another film called Harry Goes Fishing that we actually didn't finish. We did do the backgrounds, and we did do a couple of sequences for it. This is one of the backgrounds from Harry Goes Fishing, and this is on a 12, what they call a 12 field. They had a couple of fields. They had a 12 field and a 16 field animation field is what it was. And this is 12 inches, and the 16 field was 16 inches in square. But this is a 12 field, and this is Acme Punch. Believe it or not, it's called Acme Punched. This is Acme Punched, and this would go over. These are registration punches, and then there'd be a peg bar on the camera, and they'd fit over the peg bar so that everything would remain straight and nothing would move, so that everything would be in alignment when they were shooting with the camera. This is the Acme Punch. Anyway, this was a background. This is a watercolor background. A lot of backgrounds are watercolored. but that was for this. And then, of course, this was a cell. You see the painting on the back, which looks, it's just paint on the back. When you show on the front, it's the nice cellulose acetate. This was a fish underwater for this film. But then they put it over the background. And what would happen is you would go, when it got to the camera department would put it on the animation stand, and there would be camera hovering overhead, and then they could keep the same background and just replace the cells, each one. And there could be up to 5 layers of cells before things started getting too dark to really see the background through, or it would change the contrast too much with the background. But they could replace each cell one at a time. Put a cell in there, and they take a shot, or a frame or two, take the cell away, put the next cell on, take another frame or two, and do it that way. And then, of course, the film would get processed and edited later. And that's how an animated film was made up until the days of computers. That was how an animated film was made. And that's how we made this one. Made it traditionally with cell animation. So, that Square Guy says, finish Harry Goes Fishing. Well, I'd like to, but it's you know what? We had all the animation. I don't even remember. I don't remember what happened to all those drawings. So these were hundreds of drawings that went into Harry's Climb. There were hundreds of drawings. There were several thousand drawings that went into Harry Goes Fishing. We didn't complete all the sequences, but there were several sequences, and I don't know. Some of those sequences are long gone. I don't have that artwork anymore, so I don't know that we could ever really do it. But Darcy Stardust says, traditional animation is so interesting. The most I've done is a short claymation animation I made in high school. That was really fun, though. Oh, yes, claymation. That's a whole other thing altogether, and that is very, very intricate and time-consuming, and a lot of fun. You really have to be exact on that kind of stuff. There's like no do-overs on some of that. But I've done a little bit of that too, by the way. Claymation, done some cutout animation. I dabble in a lot of that stuff back in the day. Let me go back to Facebook. Ed says, applause, was there originally to be a different payoff at the end? Yes, there was. Ed says, or was it too dark for me to see it? No, Ed, you are correct. And Ed knows because he worked on this film. He was one of the inker and painters on the film, on Harry's Climb, that he inked and painted a lot of the cells. So, and I appreciate that, Ed. Great job, by the way. But yes, there was an original, the ending of Harry's Climb, there was another little bit at the end that was supposed to happen. But because we were in a rush to get it done, it actually never was shot. You remember the flag, the green flag, in the middle of the film where he gets up on the mountain and he plants that green flag and it's waving at the top of the mountain. He goes down, well, he falls off the mountain, he goes down the hill, goes through all that stuff, and then he lands in a pile at the very end with rubble. And then you see his head pop up, and then you see this rubble pop down on top of him. And basically, he's inside a little tiny hill, a little molehill, mountain out of a molehill. And the joke was, the whole joke of this film, the punchline, was that after that pile of rubble lands on him, this pile of rocks and stuff, that the last thing you're supposed to see before it fades out is you're supposed to see his flag, his green flag, come down and land squarely on top of the little mound. So you would see the little tiny mountain and the flag would stand there, and then it'd be waving at the very end. And then it would fade out. That was the punchline. But the punchline got ruined because I forgot to shoot the part with the flag cells when we finished the film, and it never actually got shot. That was my bad. But that was actually the whole point of the film. So if you've seen that without the punchline, it's like, okay, this guy goes up in a mountain, he gets on top of the mountain, he falls off, the end. No big deal. It was dumb. But there was a punchline to it that actually never finished. So that was Harry's Climb. So, Darcy Sarda says it was really fun, though. I really appreciate it. And we had fun making it. It was a lot of work, but we had a lot of fun making it. Ed says, that's what I thought. Yes, you thought correctly, but you knew. You know, that was a part of the original script. Anyway, I went way over. We've gone way, way over. I told my wife that we wouldn't, but we did. Once again, we've been drinking, just to recap, we've been drinking this Vinum Cellars 2017 Pinot Noir. I like it. It's good. It went pretty well with most everything that I tried it with. We didn't try it with the. All right, we'll try it real quick because I've said I would. Try it with the my wife's wonderful apple pie. We'll try it with that. We'll try it with the apple pie. The apple pie is really good, by the way. She always says she's perfected her recipe of apple pie over the years. If I went into that, we'd be doing a 3-hour tour here. A 3-hour tour. Great apples. As expected, works very well with an apple pie. I like it. Okay, so we were drinking the Vinum Cellars 2017 Pinot Noir. My final review, I like it. Cherry. It has some cranberry in it. It's kind of, I thought it was lighter on the tannins than originally thought, but I think it's the tannins kicked in for me a little bit since then, but it's really on the end. I taste it more, it's kind of tart on the finish, and I get the tannin there. It's a little earthy, a little oaky, very nice. I like it. It's very smooth wine, not too acidic, and I like it. I like it. So I would recommend it. This is the Vinum Cellars 2017 Pinot Noir. All right, well, wow, we went way over long, and I wasn't supposed to do that, but I did tonight. But I had a great time, and I hope you did too. I hope you had a great time, as great a time as I did, because I really enjoyed myself immensely. I always do because, well, the wine helps, but because I'm here with you and you're here with me, just because you're here, I really, really appreciate it. I want to thank everybody who's joined me in the chat this week. I want to thank Ed, my good friend Ed, Anthony, my sister Gina. My lovely wife Chi. Everybody's joined me on Facebook. Let's see, on Twitch. Oh wow, so many people to thank for being here. There is, I got to scroll up to the top. CM Cinder, that square guy. Always glad to see you here. Tom Antio, it's Barnstar. Wow, thanks for hanging out to the end. That's really awesome. That's really awesome. And Darcy, thank you for being here as well. And everybody who joined me. I know there are other people that were here, and I think I missed. I'm sorry if I missed you. There's so many people here that I appreciate on all the streams, multiple streams here, and I want to say thank you for being here with me, because I appreciate each and every one of you. Next week, I think we're going to open up the Rosso. So we'll see what happens there. Anyway, thanks for being here tonight. I want to remind everybody, please do not drink and drive. Drink in the comfort of your home, your apartment, your studio, wherever you are, your hotel room. Just drink in the comfort there. Call an Uber, call a Lyft if you have to. Just don't drink and drive. Please call a cab. Or stay where you are for the night if you can do so. Please do not text and drive. You know how I feel about that. Because I want everyone to have a great week, and I want everyone to have a safe week. So you can all join me here next week on the Saturday Night Wine Stream, and we can all get together and drink with Rick. Good night.